long overdue.
We've been meaning to talk about Pokkén on the channel for
A long
a
time.
long time, but we could never really figure out what kind of format we wanted to do it in.
Because the game itself doesn't have any... The game
Not
itself...
really like, it's just...
Yeah.
The gameplay boils down to, well, fighting.
Yeah,
And
there's not really...
There's also character customization.
But there's not really a lot of... There's not really a lot of side content.
And,
Alright.
so, yeah.
I thought I was going to do that.
Yes, you are, but I'm getting it up right.
Alright, so... today, I figured, since we've been doing
a lot of tier lists recently.
I figured the best way to do it would be,
well, a tier list.
That
seems smartest to me.
Since, now, similar to our Smash video, we will be going,
we will be going in roster order based on the order their respective level to based titles are obtained
and
in game. Like, you know, when you go to the titles menu, we're doing in the characters in the order they're listed there, since that also lines up with base game releases, then the arcade exclusives, then Decidui, and then the DLC.
Yeah.
Well, the DLC aren't in that order, but, like, they were released individually in their own order, so we know where to put them.
So, yeah,
But before we talk about characters, we're gonna rank support sets. So
let's start with
the default support set in this version of the game.
and Poplio. Oh.
Litten is an attack type support with a fast charging time. Its in-game description reads that it's a charging attack capable of nullifying some long distance attacks. Becomes more powerful the lower your HP is.
Yeah.
So Litten's obviously a somewhat easy to use starting support. It can be decently powerful if you time your summon right.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
So ended up in B tier.
Here. Poplio,
is also in B tier. An average charging time enhanced type support. Also, Litten's attack is Fire Fang, and Poplio is listed as Bubble Beam.
Yeah.
And Poplio's description reads that you become capable of jumping a second time in midair, and your attack is increased.
Yeah, Easton, you get positive.
It's positive status, double jump, and attack boost.
Yep. That's I'd say
Obviously, any attack boost is handy, and the double jump is also helpful. Especially for characters that appreciate a more mobility.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next support
is
Emolga and Fennekin. Starting with Emolga, it's an attack type support using the move Shockwave.
It
has a fast charge time, and it's listed as a quick, long-distance attack, and it's effective against ranged opponents, and it slows them down.
This is
C tier.
It's very hard to actually land.
And when your opponent's moving around a lot. Also, like, unless you catch them at a distance doing a charge-up attack like Chandelure or Mewtwo, it's or there's a good chance they can just dodge to the side.
Yeah.
The speed increase is somewhat helpful for characters who prefer to keep their distance. And it's like Machamp, but...
yeah.
But it is definitely quite outclassed by a lot of those supports.
And an A tier.
The next in A tier is Fennekin.
Yeah.
A disrupt type support with
Ember.
Using the move Ember. It has an average charging time, and its in-game description reads that it's a multi-hitting dome-shaped attack, and it's effective against pushing opponents back.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's another support about keeping the opponent away from you. This time, when they get too close, you can punish them with an explosion of fire.
Yeah, not all support sets are made equally.
as the Fennekin seems to be a lot more reliable to use than an Emolga.
Mm-hmm.
Emolga's main draw point probably being its fast charge time.
Next is is Snivy and Lapras.
Snivy, an attack type support with Leaf Tornado. It's a fast charging time that aims at an opponent and performs an anti-air attack, effective against opponents who ump often.
And
so basically, it performs an attack that has a lot of verticality to it, so it can't be jumped over,
mm-hmm.
or it has to be dodged around.
Yeah. And
Snivy ended up in B tier.
Yeah,
it's a solid option. And even if a lot of characters have better options on their standard move sets.
Yeah, it's then we have Lapras.
Yes, and it's another attack type.
Simon for Surf.
Has an average charging time. It's a wide and powerful charging attack, and it can nullify some long range attacks. This one's A tier.
Yeah, it's a very strong attack.
A very strong attack, hard to avoid.
And yeah, it's a very long duration.
It lasts quite a bit. It blocks projectiles. It would be S tier if the S tier competition weren't so fierce.
Mm-hmm. So then we have a
very high A tier.
Yeah.
All right, next is the support combo of Cubone and Diglett.
What?
Oh no, I skipped.
Frogadier and Eevee.
Frogadier and Eevee. Sorry. Frogadier uses Water Pulse.
Yeah.
It's charging. It's attack type.
Yeah.
It has a fast charging time, and it fires water pellets over a long distance. It's effective when striking from long range.
And yeah, this is yet another
B tier. It can definitely trip up the opponent, and the fact that it goes off multiple times can catch some people off guard.
Yeah.
That being said, of course, there are better options, but it's a pretty solid one.
Yeah. And Eevee is Helping Hand.
And another pretty solid option, it increases your attack. Basically, it's an average charge time, and it's an enhanced type support.
Yeah.
It provides a temporary boost to attack, and also recovers a small amount of HP.
Yeah, it's also a B tier.
Just a standard stat buff, not like it can ever go wrong.
Right, then we got
then we have Cubone and Diglett. A pair of attack type support set arts with fast charge times.
Cubone has Boomerang.
Cubone's attack is Boomerang. It performs a long distance attack that comes back and can be used to pull the opponent in close.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to something like Fennekin, this is useful for bringing your opponent to you when you prefer close quarters combat.
Yeah.
For character. Why did I say the other was first character like Machamp?
Yeah.
I said, Emolga's good for characters like Machamp. No, you want to be in close with that guy.
Yeah.
Right. So this one actually synergizes with Machamp.
Yeah. And so yeah, this is in A tier.
A tier support. Very helpful and can also be used as a combo starter. Now, the next one, Diglett's Dig, is actually designed specifically to be a combo starter. Heads towards an opponent and attacks from below with a flurry of just popping in and out of the ground.
Yeah.
No, it's easy to aim for a combo after it hits. So it could be used to rack up some damage.
Yeah, that's another A tier.
Yeah, Cubone and Diglett, surprisingly solid supports for being a pair of unevolved ground type Pokemon.
Now here's a support. Here's a one with a major. With a large discrepancy.
This is the one with the single largest discrepancy between two support options.
Jirachi.
They're both enhanced type supports.
With an average charge time. I'm Jirachi.
Jirachi's attack is Wish. It temporarily enhances your synergy burst, meaning your burst stat boosts. I think it means your stat boosts from burst are stronger, and your burst attacks do more. Your burst attack itself does more damage.
Yep.
And it also increases a medium amount of synergy gauge, which is a pretty decent chunk of it.
Yeah, that is
the first S tier because Jirachi makes your burst or like pumps your burst up on steroids.
And Whimsicott is substitute. Temporarily, it protects against some long distance attacks. Also recovers a small amount of HP. The
HP recovery is nice,
but
long distance attacks, it's Like there is somewhat of a niche there,
But
but we just didn't really find a lot how to do with it.
yeah, I tried really hard to find where to use it, but it just never worked.
Turns out a small portion of the roster are projectile spammers.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Then we have Krogunk again, Sylveon on.
Krogunk is a disrupt up type support or with a fast charge time, and its attack is toxic. It steps in place and attack. No, it stops in place and attacks opponents who come near it. Effective against opponents who run around a lot. It also drops their defense.
Yep. And
Krogunk ends up in B tier.
And
it's pretty solid.
Sylveon on is reflect with an average charge time, provide as a temporary boost to its defense. Also heals a small amount of HP.
Status effect defense increase.
Yep. It's another B tier. Your standard boost.
Standard stat boost. It's appreciated. It is just like Eevee, but with a defense boost instead of an attack boost.
Yeah.
Next support set feels like the most meme support set.
This feels like a shit post.
Just these two Pokemon, Pachirisu and Magikarp, both disrupt types supports, but they do have different charge.
Pachirisu is follow me.
Yeah, fast charge time.
Can eradicate some long distance attacks.
And it's effective when you want to close the distance.
Unfortunately,
it falls into the exact same problem as Whimsicott, being that not a lot of characters are spam and weak projectiles. The difference between this and Whimsicott is that Whimsicott's hitbox blocks attacks that get to you, while Pachirisu's redirects them and draws them into itself.
So I wonder if this one was This
was inspired by Pachirisu's World's Victory. That would be pretty fun.
It even uses follow me too.
It uses follow me.
Either way, Magikarp.
And Magikarp has a slow charge time and uses bounce. Performs a drop attack when you're hit by an opponent. Selected for interrupting combos. It also lowers the opponent's speed when it lands.
It's a B tier.
It's a B tier. It's pretty solid actually.
Though there is one.
So if you summon so when you summon it, it stops. It attacks the opponent.
There is.
The reason Magikarp's in B tier, it was originally placed in A tier, but we realized there's a support that's basically just Magikarp but better.
Yeah.
Or though it has a slightly higher skill floor.
Next we have Mismagius and Ninetales.
Mismagius is an attack type support with an average charge time. It uses Ominous Wind, an attack that slowly advances forward and also boosts your attack.
It's
This one ended up in B tier.
Yeah.
Attack boost pretty solid. It's a little difficult to actually land the attack part of it.
Yeah.
But the stat boost is really the main draw of it.
Ninetales is Will-O-Wisp. It's with a slow charge time.
It's a disrupt type support.
Yep. Launches a timed attack in front of you. Useful or preventing your opponent from drawing close and to peril.
Mismagius, it lowers the opponent's attack.
As Will-O-Wisp does.
As a burned opponent suffers from in the main series.
Mm-hmm.
I like how Ominous Wind is a stat boost and Will-O-Wisp drops attack.
That's
fun.
Yeah. Another B tier.
It's a barrier that blocks the opponent from coming in close.
Yeah.
For a little bit. If you're on your toes, you can easily work around it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have some decent use cases.
Mm-hmm. Then we have
Rotom and Togekiss.
Rotom is a disrupt type with a fast charge time. Uses Thunder Shock. Unleashes a homing attack on an airborne opponent, and it's effective against opponents who jump often.
It also lowers their speed.
Yeah.
It's similar to Emolga,
but
it's a more reliable version. It hits only. It's like Emolga, but it only hits airborne opponents. But the benefit over Emolga is that it homes in on the opponent, so they're not going to be dodging it. So I think Rotom wins out. One, because of the homing thing, and even if your opponent doesn't get hit by it, it still pressures them into not jumping.
Yeah.
And so there is a use case even if it doesn't get to do its thing. So Rotom basically always has a good effect.
Yeah. And yeah. And yeah, that was a B tier.
B tier. It's paired with Togekiss and enhanced type support.
With Tailwind.
And it has a normal charge time and it temporarily boosts your speed and recovers some HP.
Yeah. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's up in A tier because it is a stronger HP recovery than Eevee and Sylveon. And it also and the speed boost is also just generally useful for every character.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Next up, we have Farfetch'd and Electrode.
This is a personal. This is one I personally like a lot.
Farfetch is an attack type with Fury Cutter, or with a they both have average charge.
They both have average charge times.
And performs a flurry of attack for the opponent and attack together to rush down on your opponent.
So yeah, it's like it's like a sort of variant on Diglett. Which is also an A tier. Farfetch goes towards the opponent and performs some sword slashes, and you can follow behind it. So if your opponent tries to approach, Farfetch will attack him from the front. Until you get to follow up free from punishment.
Yep. And yeah, that's an A tier.
And also an A tier
is the Electrode.
Oh, the disrupt type support with explosion.
And it performs as a counter upon defending an opponent's attack, but with powerful.
And a great defensive move.
Now the thing is, the phrasing on this one.
The phrasing on this one's weird. It works in the same way as Magikarp. It's when the opponent hits you, it goes off and explodes. No, it's a very it's a bit of a tight window for activation, which is why it has a higher skill for the Magikarp. But I think it's very
it does a lot of damage.
It doesn't lower their speed, but I think it's very much worth it because it deals an obscene amount of damage. As well as ending combos. Oh boy!
Next up, we get into
one of the big three support sets, as I call them. And you'll see why very shortly.
Dragonite.
Dragonite and Victini, both with slow charge times.
Dragonite's an attack with Dragonite uses Draco Meteor, forms a multi-hitting attack over a wide area. Powerful only create it's an opening to attack.
This one does a lot of damage, and yeah, it leaves your opponent prone for quite a bit. By the standards of this game's pace, so it's just a really solid raw damage support, or that allows you to put your opponent into severe disadvantage.
Yeah, and Victini is V-Create.
An enhanced type support.
So temporarily makes all attack critical hits. It's also recovers HP. It increases synergy gauge.
Both by a small amount. It's mainly the all critical hits that just buffs all of your attacks. And lets you. And lets you win out when you're both using the same type of attack.
Yeah, these are easy S tiers.
They're both really good. And also guaranteeing a critical hit on your synergy burst burst makes it that much more powerful. So it's a similar effect to Jirachi in that regard.
Yeah.
But it's more but it's applicable to more situations.
Now then we have Espeon and Umbreon.
On
Espeon's an enhanced type with Morning Sun and a fast charge time. Removes negative status and recovers HP. Less time remaining, more HP you recover.
We put this one in B tier.
Yeah.
Now, I argue it could have been an A tier, but like the way with Noah's rule set of infinite time, it didn't really to have the increased recovery. It's also only HP recovery.
It's just HP, yeah.
In contrast to Eevee and Sylveon, which give you a stat boost as well.
Yeah. Umbreon on his also Umbreon on his disrupt type with Snarl. With a slow charge time. area
It's an area attack that absorbs opponent's synergy gauge and temporarily prevents them from performing critical hits.
Yeah, it's also another B tier.
Here, it's solid at and yeah, yeah. I wonder what happens if an opponent's affected by Umbreon and Victini at the same time.
I don't know. All right, next up we have
I have another one of the big three.
Reshiram. These Reshiram.
This is the big two. Big two basically.
Reshiram has an attack type with blue flare and a slow charge time.
Both of them have slow charge times.
Unleashes an almighty a straight line attack forward. Can only be used once per round and drops attack.
Yeah, basically inflicts a burn.
This is actually I think Charizard's burst attack.
Yeah, it's sort of it's basically just Charizard's synergy burst, but without the follow up animation.
And yeah.
And so yeah, it's a very powerful attack. Though it can be dodged to the side, the fact that it does so much damage when it does hit and lowers their attack is more than enough to put it in S tier.
Yeah.
Cresselia is an enhanced type support with Lunar Dance. It heals negative statuses, recovers it. There's a large amount of HP and a medium amount of synergy gauge, but can only be called once per round.
Yeah.
This is the supreme healer. Her best support heal in the game.
Yeah.
By far. And which makes it... that of course puts it in S tier.
Yeah.
Here. Next is who is Magneton and Quagsire, two attack type supports with an average charge time.
Okay, Magneton can perform the long distance attack, act diagonally upwards, effective against its opponents with a strong air game, and then causes negative status effect.
Two negative statuses. It's tri-attack.
Tri-attack, yeah.
Okay. Quagsire uses Mud Bomb, a powerful area attack that hits opponents on the ground and causes a lot of damage even when it's blocked.
Magneton is an A tier.
It's a very good anti-air option, and the double. It does a decent amount of damage, and getting a double stat decrease on the opponent is really good.
Yeah. And Quagsire
unfortunately didn't quite live up to Magneton and ended up in B tier.
It's a very specific. It doesn't really help you do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more or difficult to use, but it's definitely good.
But then we have Latios, Yveltal and Latios.
Yveltal is an attack type support with Oblivion Wing and has a slow charge time. It's a destructive area attack fired down from the sky
and disables burst.
That prevents the opponent from going into burst mode. But I presume if they're already in burst mode, prevents them from using their burst attack.
That's pretty helpful.
Oh well, especially against opponents like Pikachu or Shadow Mewtwo, like Pikachu, Weavile, or Shadow Mewtwo that have really fast support has synergy charges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a B. Yeah, it's an A tier. Yeah. I think one downside is that it's a bit it's specific range.
Yeah, the area of effect isn't quite as large as something like a Dragonite, and for a lot of characters, losing access to their synergy burst isn't a complete game ender. Or take a character like Mewtwo, who almost never gets the chance to use its synergy burst anyways.
And Latios is Luster Purge, or the fast charge time as Disrupt type.
It's an area attack restricting the opponent's movement, and it can only be called once per round.
So it creates 4 pillars.
5, I think.
Five
pillars that rotate around the opponent and that are very difficult to escape from. And they lower, and their defense is lowered when they come into contact with these pillars.
It can just be a little hard to trap after your opponent into that.
Like Asian.
And moving on, we have
now we have the DLC supports. Starting with Mega Rayquaza.
Mega Rayquaza
And Mimikyu. What is this pair? I have no idea, but it's hilarious.
Mega Requade's as an attack type with Dragon Ascent. As
And a fast charge time.
I'm to consume the synergy gauge to launch an instant continuous ranged attack. That can only be called once per round.
Yeah, so it takes a small chunk, it takes a medium-sized chunk of your synergy gauge to use, but it does a ton of damage and comes out so fast that it's near impossible to avoid.
And to no one's surprise,
that ends up in S tier. Mimikyu is a disrupt type. I play a rough
of an average charge time.
It launches an attack against nearby opponents, and if you block attack to power up,
yeah,
I don't know what that means, but it lowers their attack and prevents them from using their burst.
That's an A tier.
Yeah, it's like a better Krogunk. Pretty much.
And then we have the last one.
Mew and Celebi. Mew is an enhanced type support or with a fast charge time, and it uses miraculous power.
Yeah.
It randomly increases attack, grants all critical hits, or slightly increases synergy gauge.
Now, yeah, you just get a random 2 boosts.
So you get between increasing attack, granting all critical hits, or getting a small synergy gauge boost, you get 2 of those.
Yeah.
Those all critical hits and like regardless, it's going to be good. And I mean, if you want something in specific, you have a 2/3 chance of getting that.
Yeah, Mew is an S tier.
Here. Celebi is a disrupt type support with
time travel.
Time travel. It has a slow charge time.
And an unblockable area attack forces a phase shift. If on hit, it cannot deal damage.
So it does no damage, but it forces a phase shift, which can be very useful for characters who prefer a specific phase over another.
Yeah.
Like, I know there are dual and field phase, a specific Pokemon.
Yeah.
On at least in what they specialize in.
Yep. So that was that's already that. So that was
like, for example, something like Bryson prefers to be in field phase.
So yeah, that was all the support arts.
So let's get into the characters, shall we?
Let's
just pick a support. Or we got free training mode up. Well, up and Noah's gonna be playing around with some characters, or to just sort of show place them on this list. This is based on how much he likes using them.
So starting with Lucario. The basic type.
Was it standard or basic?
Standard.
Yeah, standard type character. Or which means basically it doesn't specialize in a specific attribute. It was more of a jack of all trades. All right, which rings true in its moveset. It's it moves fast, hits hard, and has a variety in its options, and with no fancy gimmicks.
I think that's just like its aura, an aura a gimmick.
I don't think it does, as in this game. And it's what are the burst attacks called? Oh, we should check what their burst attacks are. Synergy burst only.
Well, yeah.
Its burst attack is. Okay.
Burst only.
Yeah, I don't know what the burst attacks are called, unfortunately, because it doesn't say it in the menu. Ooh, but yeah. Lucario's burst has it tackle the opponent and lift him up in a pillar of aura, and then
it's a fucking comment. It's a Kamehameha.
Yeah. Because of course Lucario, as we know, is the Goku of Pokemon.
Yes. Yeah, Lucario is an A tier character.
Or a fun, no frills type character. Meant to be beginner friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next up, next up after.
Next up on our list is Pikachu. Another standard type character. All right, what do you have to say about this one?
And Pikachu, yeah, seeing like a lot of, yeah, Pikachu is good for both like range and
close range. It has a surprising amount of decent up close, decent close range options, as well as though it specializes in long distance.
Yeah.
And with its bevy of you have Thunder Shocks, Electro Balls, and Thunders. Or up close, you have combos. It was like I get a Thunder Uppercut, Utter Iron Tail. Pikachu was one of my favorite characters. Though Noah placed it in B tier.
Yeah. Or I just think, or they're just yeah. It's so
it's a fun character, but not one of Noah's personal favorites.
Yeah.
That's even though it is one of mine.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Pokkén. There's a character for everyone.
And yeah. That thing, yeah, that's for everyone.
So next up.
Next up on.
Who's listed next after Pikachu? Machamp.
Oh boy, Machamp.
Oh boy. Wait, a power type character.
Yep. Or Machamp. Well, I think.
Well, as its info suggests, is meant to be as focuses on hitting hard.
Alright, and also has
yeah, it also has a variety of different attacks.
It also has a bulk up as one of it as a mechanic,
and to temporarily boost its attack.
As if it didn't hit hard enough.
It has attacks like Mach Punch, Karate Chop, Cross Chop, Seismic Toss. It's just a super fun character to mess around with.
The close combat.
It just hits super hard. Hard. And this one is an easy S tier.
Yeah.
It just feels so satisfying to connect with it hits on this thing.
Yeah.
Pikachu's burst, by the way, has it well, Machamp's first. It summons as a jagged rock, then and punches the opponent, slams him against the wall.
It does more punch.
And a flurry of energy punches it hits them 1,000 times.
I'm
Pikachu's burst has it tackle the opponent, then flip him up into the air with an Iron Tail combo.
Oh, and then
before or zipping around the sky and finishing them off with the powerful Thunder Punch.
Yeah.
Going straight through them. Who's next in line?
Next in line.
And after Machamp is Gardevoir, a character on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, both in type of character and in rankings.
Yeah, Gardevoir.
Technical type.
Yeah. Gardevoir is.
Well, it's a very gimmicky type of character.
So it relies on. I think it relies on using Calm Mind. And
to do damage.
As you can set up two of. of
to stack act boosts. And Calm Mind can be canceled into a variety of attacks, which is mainly what Gardevoir does. It basically boils down to using Calm Mind and changing up which attack you're using.
Oh, jeez, seriously, Psychic has so much wind up.
Psychic has so much wind up in this game. I don't know why they made it like that. There should have at least been a different move. They should have like called it a different move or something.
Like Energy Ball. Oh yeah, Psychic. All dazzlingly.
It has a lot of variety. I think the reason Noah placed it so low is it's just a very difficult character to learn. Or which you might be clued into based on its technical classification.
And
for its burst, it summons a black hole.
Oh.
All that traps the opponent. And then before summoning magic sigils and firing a cannon of fairy energy spheres to blow up on the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a practice mode thing where you can absorb synergy.
Yeah.
There's from a giant.
And that's a synergy item. That's one of the special items.
Fun.
Yeah, Gardevoir is a C tier.
I see why I see why people might like play as it. Aside from
other
wholesome reasons, but and it's just not the character for us.
Yeah, we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
Weavile.
Weavile's next. X being a what type? Well, you'll find out in a second.
Being a
X being a speed type character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'd argue Pikachu maybe should have been classified as. Personally. But yeah. Weavile, as you might expect, focuses a lot on movement. I mean, you'd hope Weavile would be fast. That's basically its main thing in the core series. He's blinding fast, has to rush down attacks with claws, ice, and with claws and ice. Like this is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It also has can stand on the icicle and slash it to charge its support stage or drop it on the opponent. As well as scattering ice shards. Its burst has it spin around in a whirlwind and sweeping the opponent into the air before pulling out a gigantic claw and slashing through them, causing an explosion of dark ice.
Yeah, ice. Yeah, it's a very solid character.
Yeah, very solid character. This ended up in A tier. Here for me, it would be an S tier, obviously.
Also, Weavile just has a ton of personality.
It's like constantly striking cool poses.
Is it also
showing off.
It also has a lot of cat.
And they really leaned into the cat-like aspect.
The way it's like scratches itself.
The way it crouches, scratches itself at its entry and exit, its entry and victory animations.
And
it's also got a lot of charm, which is something this game has no shortage of.
Very very expressive game.
Yes.
So
after Weavile comes Suicune.
Yep.
The only pure quadruped character in the game.
And Suicune is a standard type.
Yep, it's a standard type character. So another well balanced one with no fancy gimmicks.
All right. So what is this? So what does the water cat do?
Well, there was a DLC character for Blastoise. That's fun.
Yeah, random free training and stuff.
Yeah.
So Suicune uses
Suicune mainly uses Suicune, despite it being listed as a non-specialized character, or attacks almost exclusively at range. And so it does have a couple close range options, like and it's like light screen, I think.
Yeah.
Mirror coat. I think it's mirror coat.
Yeah, it's mirror coat.
Yeah, like a mirror coat and water spout. I believe that's what that is.
No, that's not what. Yeah.
Whatever that is. It's mainly going to be using Ice Beam,
Blizzard.
Blizzard and Hydro Pump.
Seriously, what is seriously? A Blizzard does so much damage.
Yeah, it has a bit of wind up, but But yeah, Suicune.
Also, it attacks with its
And also in dual phase, it attacks by slapping with its riddens.
Yep. What are those? What are those things?
I guess they're its tails. Cause they
Yeah,
come
its
in out of where
tails.
its tail would be.
Yeah. But yeah, Suicune. Yeah, Suicune attack. Yeah, does this kick attack.
As a spin, it does a pivot and an upwards kick. It does one of its weak attacks. It harnesses the powers of both water and ice to overwhelm the opponent with powerful attacks.
And it's burst.
Burst is True Sheer Cold. I don't remember the name of this one.
Yeah, it's
It summons
entirely.
it's a pulse of ice around it that and traps the opponent in crystals of ice. The screen in fog in freezes over. And then the ice explodes and causes the opponent to drop to the ground.
Yeah, this is yeah, Suicune isn't fucking damage. Suicune it was an easy S tier.
It's not quite my type of character, but I can definitely see why someone will put it in S tier. It's also of course is very flashy.
Yeah. It also just its expressions.
Yeah, and it has these comedically serious expressions. I mean, it is a legendary, but it's funny.
It's also one of the grandmaster.
Yeah, one of the grandmasters. Keith uses Suicune as his partner. Machamp is also one of the grandmaster Pokemon used by
Glenn.
Glenn. There's a Glenn and a Grant in this game. Anyway, I get confused about them.
Next up would be.
No, there isn't a Grant.
No, what?
Yeah, it's Glenn. I always call him Grant.
Next up would be Charizard.
Oh boy, my original main from on the Wii U version of your release of Pokkén.
Yeah, and
Charizard is a power type character.
Yep.
Lucario's paw's adorable. Oh no. So yeah, Charizard has a punch kick combo that can follow up with a dash, up with fire punch, or by going back, and I think that was Inferno or something.
Also, it fucking can get on all four or
it gets down all fours for some attacks.
Yeah.
Acts like a long distance flamethrower.
Or it can also glide.
It can go into a glide mode where it can and shoot projectiles by flapping its wings. I think that's supposed to be like air slash or something.
Yeah. Asher use Dragon Claw.
It has Flare Blitz, which does recoil damage, of course. Yeah, it can also use Dragon Claw from glide mode. Flare Blitz has like 3 different variants of it too. It also has Seismic Toss.
Of course.
And a command grab that loops around, spins the opponent around rapidly in air, and then throws them to the ground with maximum force.
I mean, that's
it also
like
has this funny little belly attack
like
where
body slam or
sort
something.
of thrusts its stomach out of the opponent, which is hilarious. And its burst, it Mega Evolves into Mega Charizard X. I forgot to mention this game was primarily released in Gen 6 era, so of course when a Pokemon has a Mega, it Mega Evolves.
It's like I said, it's
with Lucario also doing such.
Yeah, it's.
Lucario and Gardevoir Mega Evolve too. Mega Charizard X has Blue Fire. And of course, increased attack stats. It's Burst.
Yeah.
Burst has it fire off off an attack, much like Reshiram's.
Yeah, that is the main attack.
But it goes into a cutscene where Charizard or fires out or charges up and then fires off an even stronger eruption of blue flames. It was roasting the opponent.
And yeah.
These moves should have been Z moves.
Yeah. It's like Charizard is an S tier.
Yes, Charizard S tier. It's such a fun character.
Yeah. Next up is Gengar.
Gengar.
Oh boy, another technical.
are technical, and spoiler alert, it's the only other C tier on this list.
Gengar is just